Welcome back to the 365 Driven podcast. Today, we've got a powerhouse of AI digital marketing. This guy is one of the most followed people on that space, and he's developed millions of followers and across multiple platforms of developing AI marketing tips. And what I really like about our guest today, Austin Armstrong, is that he shares a lot of takeaways and tips. It's not about him marketing himself. He's teaching everybody how to do all these different things with all the different apps that are going out there, and I really like that he's got a non-biased opinion. A lot of times he's talking about like this was good last week, and then this is better this week. And if you guys are following AI subject, things change really fast. So, Austin, welcome to the show, my friend.
Tony, thank you so much for having me on, brother. I appreciate you. It's good to see you, and hope we can nerd out and provide some value for folks today.
Now you've got over 20 years of digital marketing experience. That was even long before AI was even a subject. So, what initially got you interested in the marketing thing?
Yeah, when I was 14, I stumbled across MySpace because social media was this
Right.
exciting new thing, and I don't even really know the underlying psychological reason of why I got into it, but I saw people sharing each other and gaining a large following on this platform, and something about that, maybe I needed some validation in my life, I don't know. I was immediately drawn to that, and so I jumped in, and I really just have never let go. I had hundreds of thousands of followers on MySpace back in the day. I was able to
What?
monetize
Okay,
it,
okay.
and
What was your
yeah.
background song? Because we got to know the secret there.
Oh, it was some emo rock music or something, probably A
That's
Day to
what I loved about
Remember
that
or
that platform was being able to make it look the way you want and having the music in the
yeah.
background. I mean, can Facebook give that to us, please? Please?
We don't know how good we had it back then. You were able to customize your profile with HTML or Flash. They literally encouraged us to learn how to code.
Oh,
There were
yeah.
no algorithms in place, none of that BS. The most
Animated
drama was just
GIFs,
who's in my top 8.
right? Animated GIFs were the thing. That was like cutting edge
Yeah,
technology back then.
I know. It's good times. But yeah, I've never stopped, man. I just got addicted at a real young age and kept going with it.
So you were good at getting attention. Came natural to you, or you're always a performative type person, or what?
When I asked my mom about this, I was always an extremely outgoing child.
Hmm.
So it they should have put me in theater. I never did theater. That probably is a huge missed opportunity. But no, I'm extroverted, very extroverted, always
Mhm.
have been. My mom used to say we'd go out to restaurants and I'd leave our table and go to someone else's table and sit down and make friends with them. And so, I guess I was always pretty good at getting attention, always had now I wasn't like a popular cool kid, but I
Mhm.
always had large friend groups, kind of a nerd.
Yeah.
But, no, I've never been afraid to ask for what I wanted, and, I've always kinda been a little bit of a social butterfly.
One of the things that really stands out about you is that you've always put forth like an effort towards being unique. You always want to stand out. Like you haven't seen him on stage. He's a great speaker on the events, but he has the wackiest pants collection that I've ever seen in my life. I don't even think I've seen you wear the same wacky pants more than once because you must have hundreds of these things.
No. I probably own 7 or 8 different pairs, but they're fun.
Just
They're fun.
just good clips. I mean, so that's kind of your thing, your vibe. And I saw you post the other day, you thought, maybe I should open up an e-com that has these pants. I think you should. I think that'd be a really good branding move for you.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. I was just speaking at a conference in Lima, Ohio, and small town. There's like
Mhm.
10,000 people in this town. It's just this awesome conference. Anyway, after the conference, we all go out for a night on the town, and I've got these bright blue paisley patterned pants on, and we
Mhm.
walk into this smokers dive bar, and it's like the record scratch. Everybody in the crowd looks around and they're like, "Church must have just got out." Like literally somebody in there said it.
Mhm.
And I don't think anybody had seen anything like that in this small town of Lima. So I stuck out like a sore thumb, man. But it got me some attention in there too.
That's it. And you were probably thinking to yourself, little do you all know, sitting at the bar in your Harley jackets, that we're about to become best friends.
Right.
That's good stuff. So, early forays into the marketing or digital marketing space, at what point did you think, like, this is the career for me? And did you start out as an agency or an individual contractor? How did that work?
Well, that's a really good question because I was making a lot of money pretty early on, age 14 through 17.
Mhm.
But the problem was it was so early that I didn't even see it as something that I could do forever. And I didn't at the time have anyone in my life that was telling me, "No, this is an opportunity. Keep doing this thing." Because I
Mhm.
grew up in the household, you gotta go to school and you gotta get a job and you gotta,
Yeah.
do that traditional path. Nobody was like, "No, you can make a lot of money on social media and use this for businesses and continue to grow." So, when MySpace kinda died, I was still on all of the platforms. I got on YouTube super early, I got on Facebook super early, I got on Instagram super early, all of these platforms, and I didn't have a whole lot of traction on there until I moved out to California in, gosh, it was about 12 years ago now, something like that, 12 years ago,
Mhm.
and I stumbled into a unpaid marketing internship at a video production company, marketing
Okay.
agency that specialized in the behavioral health space. So doing YouTube content for therapists and psychologists and addiction treatment centers. That's where my professional career really started. And I've been doing video marketing, heavily
Mhm.
focused on video marketing on social media ever since for the last 11, 12 years now. And so that was agency and kind of worked my way up from being an unpaid intern to a paid intern, part-time employee, full-time employee, basically running that agency. Uh, that agency failed, but my boss there was very much a mentor to me, paid for a lot of sales training and mentor, like one-on-one consulting and training and whatnot. And, he became my business partner. So I started my first, marketing agency about 7.5 years ago or something like that. My boss became my business partner and then just kinda have continued down the path from there, and now I'm in SaaS.
One of the things that really stood out in that segment was that you were always investing in new skills and you were an early
Mm.
adopter.
Oh,
So it
yeah.
looked like if there's a communication channel, you jumped on it. And there's probably been platforms you created accounts on, but they didn't pan out and they still have accounts
Oh,
created on them, but they just,
yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. You don't have a crystal ball. You can't tell what's going to be the good ones.
Yeah, 100%. And the early adopter thing in particular, first of all, I have so many failed YouTube channels and weird niches that you can't even imagine. Had an ASMR, steel tongue drum channel. I used to review hot sauce and do hot spicy food
All right.
challenges. Like all kinds of just crazy stuff. But in the early adoption space, one thing that I thought was gonna be huge was virtual reality and 360 video. I'm like, "This is
Mhm.
gonna change the world. This is gonna change how we create and consume content." And I did all these I bought a Yi 360 camera. I bought the, whatever the first headset was. I think it was a HTC Valve or, whatever one came out first, and we recorded a bunch of 360 video content with therapists. This was like 7, 8 years ago, something like that.
Mhm.
And, no, maybe it wasn't that long, maybe 6 years ago. Anyway, fell flat. Did nothing, absolutely nothing whatsoever, and it still is not really there, you know?
No.
So that was one example of, like, I thought this was big, and, I tried it, and we really went all in, and the market in the industry didn't go that way. But sometimes it really does work well. I mean, I jumped on TikTok very, very early, and that helped explode my agency and my career, and
Mhm.
I jumped on AI very early on the user bell curve of adoption. I've been in the AI space for about 4.5 years now, and it's only really grown, exploded the last 2 years,
Right.
but I got in this really early because 'cause I'm like, "This is the next big thing." And sometimes it fails, but sometimes it works out really, really well for you.
There's a good lesson in there. You talked about having all these different YouTube channels that failed. You've done different businesses, the good and bad that have failed. It seems like you've got that typical entrepreneur success trait where you move on pretty quick when you see things aren't working well and you try something new. And I think a lot of people are afraid of doing something at all, and so they don't take any action. And then there's other ones that are so worried about what if it fails? What if it fails? Like, what do you say to
Yeah.
that?
Don't be an entrepreneur if you're afraid of failure. I mean, that's just a part of it. My
Yeah.
goodness, you'll never progress in life if you go through it just fearing the worst of everything. I am a very risk tolerant person,
Mhm.
and that allows me to take big swings. And failure is not failure. Failure is just a lesson learned that hopefully prepares you a little bit better for the next swing at the bat. Right? That's my whole thing, and, the other thing is most people won't see your failures anyway.
Oh, you know, one of the things I can add to that is I tell people I've started 9 companies and 4 of them did really well. 5 of them you would never even know about, and
Right.
nobody even cares, and sometimes I forget the details of those other 5, right? It's just
Yeah.
people move on pretty quick on things, and, it pains me that so many people put their dreams and ambitions on a shelf because 'cause they're so worried about the fear of potential public
I
criticism or
know.
judgment, you know?
I know, man. Even in content creation, they just, like they fear getting negative feedback from Aunt Aunt Carol that has never done anything in their life anyway, you
Oh,
know?
Aunt Carol, like, dang it, like, everybody's got one of those too.
Right.
It's true. So, that's a great lesson, guys. You're entrepreneurs. You gotta just do things. Like he's talking about taking the big swings at the bat. Just take swing, period, and
Yep.
you'll realize that, sometimes they do good, sometimes they don't bad, but when do you know, like, when to quit? Because I think that's another thing is some people just stay in something probably too long, and it just doesn't really ever pan out. What are you using for gut feel or a kind of a process to kind of look at what you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know if I have a quantifiable practice for myself, but if there's just not any traction whatsoever. So, like, I'll do like on content ideas, for instance, this is typically what I'll do is if I want to try a new content strategy, format of content, slightly new niche or topic or something like that, I need to give it at least a 30-day
Mm,
time frame to just really give it a go and see if it can work. Right now, just a good example, I just got this humanoid robot, and so I'm making humanoid robot content. The first video I put up, did 1,000,000 views. The now I've since created about 5 other videos, and they're not doing that great
mm.
whatsoever. They're doing okay, they're not doing that great. So I'm doing this test for the next month and just seeing how good can I do with humanoid robot content. I'm just trying to own every question and keyword on YouTube. How much does a humanoid robot cost? Where did you get it? Just answer all these questions. And after that, if I really don't see any more traction, if it's not making money,
Mhm.
if it's, not getting followers, if it's not getting any sort of engagement, the view duration is low, if it's not leading to brand deals or companies reaching out, then I'm gonna try something else because it's not a waste of time. Now in business, that time frame is a little bit longer, right? And
Mhm.
there are variables, of course, of, you might have to take it out back and kill it if you don't have any money to keep the business afloat
Yeah.
anymore. So that's something outside of your control. But as long as you have a little bit of runway, how many people are you talking to? Are you actually trying to pivot and learn from it, or are you stubbornly just trying to do the same thing over and over again and
Mhm.
failing over and over again? Are you actually like making the adjustments to try and get this thing to work, or are you standing in place? These are all just questions you have to ask yourself. Everyone's tolerance is going to be a little bit differently. I've pivoted a million times.
Yeah.
My start Syllabi has pivoted a bunch of times. Your first idea and thesis in anything that you do is probably not going to be 100% the right answer. But as we serve customers and talk to people, they will help you form that idea into something that is a success or more successful than it initially was when you launched it.
That's a great tip. I think that's a seasoned advice from entrepreneur has done a lot of different things because a lot of times we have different intentions or a different plan for a business model. We roll it out. Initially, it maybe does pretty well, but then you start to see the market react and they
Yep.
start to maybe sometimes take it a different direction than you originally anticipated. Now, someone who's less experienced in entrepreneurship will be like, no, 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 my ego's too big. I wanted
Yeah.
to go this direction and that's the way I'm going. And I don't care what the market's telling me. And they start to ignore the loudest voices that want to buy things from them. And they refuse to pivot. And the smart ones are like, you know what, the market's reacting. And I think I should go to this bigger, louder section that seems to really want what I have to offer. And
Yep.
that especially in the tech industry or service-based businesses, I've seen so many different companies that started initially a service-based company or done for you type service, whether that's consulting or home services. They start to see a demand in a different sector and then they go, well, we'll add that to our portfolio. And then that becomes the big thing. And they're like, oh, wow, like I didn't expect that.
Right.
So
Agree.
I like it. So getting into the AI topic, you jumped in early adopter, kind of you were just dabbling and playing with things like many of us trying to figure things out. What is this even going to do? Is this useful? Is it a waste of our time? Does it cost too much? Is it free? Like those were some pretty intense, I would say early months, like the first 3, 4 months of that content when I started seeing you show
Mm.
up, things were changing. How did you react?
I love fast-paced industries, and this has kept me on my toes so much.
It hasn't slowed
And
down. Actually, it's gone faster,
no,
hasn't it?
it's speeding up, if nothing else. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I'll find myself in a little echo chamber trap of I'll be at we were talking beforehand about going to a bunch of conferences. I'm
Mhm.
constantly at conferences.
Yeah.
And if something happens while like there's a big release or something shut down or whatever, and I'm in 8 hours of sessions all day, I feel left behind. And the reality is like, no, no, that's ridiculous. You have more time. Um, but that's how I feel because I try and always be on the cutting edge and bring the latest, greatest news to my channel. But I've spent so much money on all of these tools, and I firmly believe that this is not going anywhere. It'll probably get regulated, but it's only going to continue to get more and more ahead.
Mhm.
And what's gonna happen is this is going to create a massive separation in our society from the people that are using and leveraging this technology and the people that resisted it
Mhm.
or were too slow. And I never wanna be that person. And so, yeah, there's like, AI is there, potentially not that great for the environment and has water costs and the data centers and all these things that and taking all these things that people complain about. I'm trying to take care of my family.
Mhm.
That is what I care most about, not getting left behind in the world and the society that I see it going in.
Right.
Progression is inevitable. And so that is why I always want to be able to test and use and be comfortable with all of these tools so that no matter what progression comes out, I have a really good and strong foundation that my family is never going to need to worry. And that's what I preach about all this stuff. You can be mad all you want or accept reality and leverage reality for your benefit. I mean, these tools are just getting crazier and crazier and crazier and love it for one.
Yeah, outside of the environmental factors you mentioned, the technology always seems to sort itself out over time. What we're seeing today is just the current infrastructure. It's going to change. Like things are going to change,
Mhm.
technological advancements. And so, yeah, it's early adopter stuff. People are going to have some pushback, mainly the resistance, because they want to keep the way it's always been done. Like anything
Yeah.
that's new technology, you have that resistance. And then soon enough, it becomes the norm, and then nobody really thinks about it anymore. It's just kind of it's always there. It's always been there
Yeah.
10 years in, and they figure out different ways to do things. And so yeah, It's a interesting time to watch the
Yeah.
speed of this technology evolved and the resistance not really keep up. They think they're being vocal, but they're not really keeping up because they still use the technology, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to your point, right? There was resistance when the internet came out, and then we had the whole dot-com crash thing, right? But, like, now it's second nature.
Exactly.
You don't argue with the internet, right? You don't think, my unless you're, you sell exclusively at farmers markets or something like, which,
Even they need
you
the
know,
internet
or
now, they gotta know.
uh,
So
yeah, yeah, but, like, nobody's discounting the value of the internet, right?
right.
Everybody has embraced it, it's become the new norm. It is fascinating that we are in the middle right now, really the beginning, I guess, of this massive shift,
Mhm.
and we're seeing the response to it in real time. It's like if you could go back to the Industrial Revolution or the printing press,
True.
all of these things, horse uh people that sold horses were pissed off about the automobile
Yep,
industry, all of these things. And now we all have cars,
yep.
horses became pets. They didn't become the primary they're no longer the primary model of transportation.
Good point.
This is an inevitable shift, but where we currently are, we're seeing that resistance because, like you said, people don't like change. People
Mhm.
like comfort. They like to be comfortable. And if you're an entrepreneur, like I know a lot of the listeners and watchers are here, you
Mhm.
can't resist this stuff. We deal with pain. We are problem solvers. That's what entrepreneurs do.
Right. I mean, even looking at the internet stuff, there's a lot of people who still have not adopted the internet or websites or even landing
That's
pages.
crazy. That's
I mean,
crazy to
I
me.
can't believe how many times I'm looking maybe for a home services type person and do a Google search like everybody or an AI search
That's
nowadays.
fair, actually.
And you
Yeah.
find they don't have a web page. They're still using a Facebook business page as their business page. Like that's a free that doesn't show you any skill. Like that's crappy. Or they're sending you emails from like a Yahoo account and they're trying to be professional. It's like what is that? It costs you $10 to go get a domain and attach it to your Gmail. You know? So
Yeah, and your business will be perfectly fine doing that
mhm,
for now, but is it enough? I mean, do you want to knowingly watch your competitor and a young kid come in and rip from your hands what you've built over the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
right.
Because they will. I
Mhm,
could set up, to your point right now, like if I was in a home service business and I did organic marketing for home service businesses in my agency, I can destroy everybody online, and I will if that was my business, and your competitors will as well. So why resist this opportunity to change your family's life just because you're comfortable? I
yeah.
don't resonate with that at all.
And it kind of goes back to even, I somewhat guilt trip a bit of my entrepreneur audience for not building a personal brand. And I've
Mhm.
experienced both things where I built a very large brand where I wasn't a part of that personal brand. And now I'm more focused on the personal brand and I see the benefits and the pros and cons of each. But to me, that we carry these little devices around in our pockets that have the internet and everything connected and we can reach the world. And people take for granted how valuable this little cell phone is for a marketing tool. If you would have showed me this 20 years ago when I first started
Yeah,
my
buddy.
first businesses, I would have thought this was some magic device that aliens dropped off. You mean I can go live like you and I are live streaming this episode? We're reaching thousands of people just watching this right now. This would have never occurred even 15 years ago. It didn't
Yeah.
happen. You had to have gatekeepers, you had to know somebody, you had to go rent time at a TV studio to broadcast it out. It's like people have all these tools readily available and they take it for granted and they refuse to use it.
Yeah, my phone is arguably more valuable to me than my laptop, and the
Yes.
computer that I work on. Like, when I'm out of town, my laptop largely remains shut
Mhm.
outside from outside of reviewing slides,
Right.
or if I need to do something where the UI is just a little bit easier on desktop or whatever, but most of the time, I mean, I can run basically 90% of my businesses and everything that I do entirely from my phone.
Yep. Yeah. The old cliche phrase 10 years ago was living the laptop lifestyle. And there was a
Yeah,
lot of motivational meme posters of your
right.
laptop at a beach. You and I probably still carry the laptop just in case you gotta get in and go hard code something in the back end of your WordPress
Exactly.
site or whatever, but,
Yeah.
like I said, 99% of the stuff can be done on phone now because phones have gotten so good, and,
Yep.
so it's really living the smartphone lifestyle is really the realistic phrase nowadays.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what are some things that I want you to speak to the resistance side of using AI? There's people that are skeptics still, they maybe haven't even dabbled with it. Maybe they don't even realize when they Google search now, like the first section's the AI, you know, version of Google giving a response. But you talked about don't miss the boat, it's going to hurt your business and stuff like that. But how do you encourage them to actually start dipping their toe in it?
I mean, I've people are gonna people. People are gonna be stubborn in their ways no matter what. And
Let's say that they tell you they want to be successful, but they're not showing it. Let's talk to that segment.
yeah, no, I get you. I'm struggling internally in my head because no matter what we say, I mean, just start dabbling. That's the biggest thing. If you have the free version of ChatGPT on your phone, spend the $20 and upgrade. Get Claude. See what the other world is like on Claude versus ChatGPT. Another really practical thing that I always recommend is to do a time audit, a time inventory. It's one of my favorite practices. Before you even look at an AI tool, just figure out where your time actually goes. It's one of the, a secondary complaint here, but people say, I don't have the time to do the thing, to grow the business, to create the content, but they don't know where their time actually goes.
Mhm.
So, quick overview of what a time audit is. From the moment you wake up until the moment that you go to sleep every day for a week straight, mark down the start time and end time of every task. I woke up, brushed my teeth, I took my kids to school, I checked emails, I scrolled on social media, I said I had meetings, etc. Every single task, start time, end time. Your level of enjoyment personally on that task, if it's optional potentially or mandatory, and the dollar value uh, um, of that task uh, based on your time value. How much is your time worth to you? Is this a low value task or a high value task where your effort should actually go? You do this for a week or 2 weeks straight. You will see all of these trends and opportunities of, oh my gosh, I spend 2 hours a day checking my emails and I hate this. Or I spent so many hours today auditing blog articles on my website and looking for broken link. All of these little things. Seek out AI solutions for those bottlenecks in your time. This used to be a buy back your time with like virtual assistants or an
Right.
actual assistant or hiring a staff. You now have the opportunity to do this with AI and even more so AI agents.
Mhm.
So I have dozens of AI agents that help me with marketing and actually in my business that check my emails every single morning, check my Slack channel every single morning, check my calendar every single morning, and tell me what messages I missed, what do I need to respond to, what's on my agenda for today. It preps my whole day for me. This saves me hours of time. It will go and do research on trending topics online and format it into tweets and LinkedIn posts and video outlines and give me all of this time back that I used to be research that I used to spend to research and format. And then I come in and add my unique expertise and flair. I'm not just replacing myself here. Don't get me wrong with that. I'm using it in the ways that I don't like to spend my time. That saves me a lot of time, and what I do actually enjoy doing, and saves me a ton of time with that. I have these AI agents checking our Stripe channel and our Google Analytics and our Post Hog for A/B testing, checking churn data and user data and sending information to other team members and drafting email response, all of these things. But it starts by looking at your own personal bottlenecks. Now, this
Mhm.
might sound like a lot to somebody that's like, I'm just getting started with AI. Do the time inventory first. Find your bottlenecks. Do not be afraid to pay for tools. I can't stress this enough. Invest in yourself. This drives me crazy. Invest in
$20
yourself.
a month. I mean, come on.
$20 a month. I mean, what are we talking about here? Skip the Starbucks for 2 days,
Yeah,
for crying
and
out loud.
just the time savings alone, like, how much is your time worth? I mean, $20 a month. We're not talking per hour, per day,
Yeah.
per week, it's per month. Like, how many hours could you fit into a $20 per month subscription? And you can use it as many times as you want, you
Yeah.
know? So, I like that topic because, as an executive coach, most people that say, like, "I don't have time to do this," you just hit on it, like, they're not using calendar. They're not managing their time, so they just assume they don't have time. When we find all the gaps, they're scrolling, doom scrolling the internet, or just doing things or wasting time or watching TV or things that are not, delivering the goals that they want to have, but they say that they want.
Mhm.
Once you get that calendar, we start to work effectively. You start to look for things. I say delegate the things that you hate. That's the easiest way to
Mhm.
remember it. You look at
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff, especially you business owners, you got a lot of administrative stuff or accounting stuff or all these things that
Yeah.
you can easily farm that out at the employee level. But now, like he's talking about using agents, you can actually use AI agents, which you create. You have full control of them. You give them the guardrails, the rules, the
Mhm.
intellectual property, and the knowledge that you have in your organization. You can feed them all the information, keep them inside, and they can do all these kind of things. And explain the difference because someone may be hearing like we're talking about agents versus the
Yep.
user searching thing, which most people are really
Mhm.
doing. What's the main difference between being a user searcher versus like what an agent is?
Yeah, a good kind of analogy is, just using ChatGPT is, like a research tool like Google.
Mhm.
An agent is more like an employee.
Mhm.
So, if I go to ChatGPT and I say, "Write me a blog article, on this topic," as a crude prompt, right? It
Mhm.
will give you that prompt, that article, and then you need to go handle it,
Mhm.
publish it. An agent will take it 10 steps further. An agent you can set up to say, every Monday morning at 8 a.m., research a trending topic in my niche, write the blog article, then go and publish and optimize it on my website automatically for me. Then send an email to my entire list linking to that article. Then break it down into 5 tweets that also link back to that article as well, and do this every week forever. And these agents will do all of those things for you until you tell it to stop. And you can set up agents through ChatGPT,
Mhm.
through Claude, through Perplexity. These are all very beginner friendly. There's also Manus and GenSpark are very
What are the
popular.
price points are you seeing like at the agent level?
So agents can be a little bit more, right? So, for instance, I use Perplexity Computer and Claude Cowork
Mhm.
as some of my agents, um, and depending on the level and complexity of the task, it can be a couple $100 per month
Still
to a
low.
couple $1,000
Yeah,
per month.
still way less than an
That's
employee.
It's way less than an employee,
Mhm.
but there's less room for error as well.
Right.
So they're such smart. They're so smart at this point. AI makes mistakes. You can get it to like the last mile type situation of it does all of the prep work, it drafts everything, and then you go in and finalize and approve everything and just click publish if you want to. But all of these tools have thousands of integrations. So you can connect I think like Zapier or
Mhm.
N8N or Make.com, any of these like automation tools that connect to other software. So you can connect your Zoom, you can connect all of your social media accounts, you can connect all of your Google accounts for email, you can connect Stripe and for payment process. Anything that you do online in your business, you can connect into these AI agents and set up multi-step and automates everything, and they
Yeah.
can learn and improve in real time too.
It's really cool. So in summary, anything that's done on a computer screen can be done by a programmed agent.
100%. They even live in browsers now. I use the Perplexity Comet browser. There's an AI agent built into my browser,
Hmm.
and if I'm, like, stuck on a sign-up process or something, or I can't find it, I'll just turn on that little AI assistant agent and be like, "Can you just submit this form for me? I can't find the button because I don't know the UI." And it literally will search for it, it'll search its database, and it'll do it for me. So you never
That's
get stuck on anything anymore.
so people are hearing that, all these different platforms. We talk about Gemini, we talk about Grok, Claude, ChatGPT, and I know that relevance of time matters. So we're in the middle of 2026 when he's responding on these. But what have you seen like the strengths and the weaknesses from those main platforms, and why would you decide between them, or should you try all of them, or how do you do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's personal preference, and I am not gonna be the one that tells you that you need to pay for 15 different AI tools. If good enough is good enough,
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I just wanna encourage everybody is just use them.
Hmm.
To whatever capacity, don't have analysis paralysis because there's so many shiny object tools out there. Every week something changes, and then it'll go from this being the best tool to, ChatGPT being the best, and then Claude's the best,
Yeah.
but now ChatGPT is the best, right? So, like, don't really get caught up in that. It's gonna drive you crazy. Um, I think Claude is really the best main LLM for you to have for anything research oriented, text generation focused, AI agent focused, coding, most things that you wanna do. Claude is gonna be the better solution than
Stronger,
ChatGPT.
stronger at
Just
copywriting and marketing
yes.
copy. Yeah.
Yeah, so across the board and the most use cases. Now, for image generation, you could interchange Gemini that has Nano Banana, which is very good, but and again, this is the, like, back and forth thing,
Mhm.
ChatGPT Image 2.0, which just came out barely over a month ago,
Yeah.
is arguably better than
Mm.
Nano Banana. I think it is fantastic, and, so if you want everything plus image generation, Claude does not have image generation for reference. ChatGPT does. So if you need that image generation plus you want a lot of the text generation bells and whistles, ChatGPT is a very, very good option. Now Google has a huge suite of tools.
Right.
I mean, we could spend another 2 hours talking about the individual use cases and functionalities of different tools.
Yeah.
If you wanna do anything video, I'm gonna shamelessly plug my own tool, Syllaby. I
Yep.
think that's the best, but, um, start with Claude or ChatGPT, but Claude is my personal, preference.
So you just hinted on the video content creation for reels and social media content, Syllabi. I've used it as a great product. Give an idea of people who maybe aren't familiar with creating reels and things like that with AI. What input is required and what kind of things can they expect on the outputs?
Yeah, so the whole reason I started Syllabi is I was working in the agency space, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, 12 years in agency space, and I just saw the same problems over and over again that businesses know they need to create content for social media, but they don't have the time, they don't know what topics to create. They're not comfortable on camera half the time. They need that accountability partner. They don't want to learn editing. All of these little things. That's why they hire a person or an agency to begin with. And Syllabi automates all of that. In fact, it's the only AI video tool out there that shows you the topics that your customers are searching for, writes the scripts, creates the videos however you want. I'll break that down in a second,
Mhm.
and directly connects to all of your social media pages and schedules and publishes them, and it is able to capture leads for you as well because it optimizes the descriptions. You can add in links and use it as a lead generation tool.
Hmm.
So as far as the videos and outputs, there's a lot of different ways that you can create videos inside Syllabi. I don't care how you create videos. I want you to create more videos.
Mm.
So you can upload a video of yourself, recording yourself. We have a video editor in there, and you can add in and edit B-roll in there. You can generate the best highest quality AI videos available on the internet because we have every single AI video gen model in there.
Mm,
Dance 2, Google VO 3, Kling, Happy Horse, Grok Imagine. Every new video model that comes out, we have it integrated into Syllabi.
okay.
You can create hyper realistic, entirely AI videos if you want. You're like, I don't want to be on camera. I don't want the internet to see my face, but I still want to use it to grow a faceless channel or grow my business and get leads. You can do entirely AI videos as well and
Mm,
schedule and publish a month of content out there. So it's
wow.
really meant to be your assistant to handle all of your video on social media. You can also use it to create ads as well.
Most of these AI video creation tools, you listed a bunch of them like Higgsfield and all these other ones. What are you seeing for like the average like time or duration limits per clip?
So that's a great question. The models themselves currently allow a maximum of 15 seconds of
Mhm.
generation, and then you need to either extend them or edit them together.
Right.
Syllabi, we've really solved that as well. So we have a storyboard feature in there, for instance, and you set the whole script and we automatically in the background will generate all of the
Of
video
the
scenes for you and
clips, right?
automatically stitch them. So you can actually make up to about a 10-minute video,
That's pretty badass.
entirely AI generated in Syllabi right now.
Yeah, and you guys hear 15 seconds and you think that that's really short, but it's not because if you go watch a movie or any kind of TV show, each
Right.
scene, like the camera view, like it changes in like 5
Yeah,
seconds. So you can
absolutely.
string a bunch of different things and just keep changing the view. You can have people having a conversation and you're looking at them or showing a product and there's a voiceover. So you can build a lot of cool stuff with 15 seconds, is actually a pretty long clip and actually kind of stale nowadays on social media.
Yeah, you really should be cutting every like 3 to 4 seconds to
Right.
trigger those dopamine receptors in our goldfish brains.
Yeah. So I like the idea that it's fully automated and you don't have to know anything about editing. A little bit of direction or ideation kind of helps, but I think you can also
Mhm.
ask AI to help you with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just go in the, like, idea discovery engine, type in a topic or a service or a product that you
Mhm.
offer, and it'll show you all the questions that your customers are searching for online.
So let's get into the influence strategy and the growing the personal brand because you're one of the best
Sure.
at that, and I'd be failing
Thank
if I
you.
didn't ask you these questions. So how did you discover I guess the method or process for attracting because you've built like something like 4 million followers across your channels, probably more than that by now it goes up. But what is it that you discovered that helped you do that the best?
All that virality is on social media is pattern recognition and staying consistent on those patterns, and new patterns emerge constantly. And so what I have done historically is I take it one platform at a time. So for me, TikTok was really the first platform that I figured out
Mm,
really, really well years and years and years ago. I guess YouTube, arguably, but for my personal brand anyway, TikTok is what I really just hyper fixated on, studied everything, studied trends, studied the best performing content, and then you make assumptions. You have to, study first, do your research, make assumptions on what is going to perform best. You also have to know your niche, know who you want to reach in the first place. Don't just like
yeah,
rapid fire content at scale. Know who you want to reach, know your niche, know the pain points, and then create content for them and test. Like I said as well, like 30-day sprint
mm,
tests is what I typically will do. If I don't see traction, then I'm going to move on to something else.
mm,
Once you have one platform down, you can pretty much have that as autopilot in the background, and then you move on to another channel and you hyperfixate. And yeah, from there it was really like YouTube Shorts, I guess. Afterwards, like I figured out TikTok, and then I figured out YouTube Shorts, and then I figured out Instagram and Facebook. And Facebook
right.
exploded last year. And you just take it one platform at a time. Right now, I'm doing LinkedIn, to be honest. So I've got all the platforms figured out. It's just testing, testing, testing
Yeah.
until a content format works exceptionally better, and then you go all in on that format of content. Maybe it's video, maybe it's images, maybe it's text posts, maybe it's
Mhm.
carousels, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Everybody's profile and niche and platform is going to be different.
Mhm.
When you find something that works, double down on it until it stops working, and then study, 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 test, test, test until something new works, and rinse and repeat, and you just go deep on it. My LinkedIn is skyrocketing right now because I'm dialed in. I've got it. I'm like locked in every single day. The next thing that I'm hyper fixating on, and I'm working with AI agents to figure this out right now, is X, Twitter.
Yeah.
I've never really cracked that code, but it's
Neither have I.
because
That
I
was my
have a
least
really
performing platform.
yeah, I'm gonna get it though. You'll
Yeah.
I'll get
I mean,
it.
in the tech space,
Entire time.
AI space, there's a huge
Yep,
audience there on that platform. So yeah, you'll get
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
Give some of those pointers because I like that you started with TikTok, and people don't give TikTok a lot of credit, but it was actually the first major platform that was interest based instead of follower
Mhm.
based. So
Yeah.
keywords, content, when you
Yep.
upload a video nowadays on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, the AI is scanning the content and it knows what you're
Mhm.
talking about. It can look at the scenes and get a general idea of what the interest is. Like, what is this about? And it tries its best to bridge the gap and get the audience and put that piece of content in front of whoever's interested in that topic. And so TikTok was the first one to do that. Instagram at that time was still heavily follower based. Like, if you're not getting a bunch of followers, you're not going to get a lot of reach.
Yeah.
TikTok, like, nah, we're going to serve people that are just interested in topics and keep them entertained. Now we've seen that YouTube is now that way. Instagram is now that way. Facebook is now that way. So everybody's moved to interest focused. So it's kind of cool to
Mhm.
see that.
Yeah, every post and every video kind of operates independently, which is
Mhm.
kinda great.
Yeah.
Follower counts don't matter as much as they used to on
Mm-mm.
any of these platforms. Now, it's nice to have, and I'm not gonna deny you the opportunities that it brings up. It's a great vanity metric, and it still opens a lot of doors.
Yeah.
But as far as actual business performance on social media and making the money, doesn't matter. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Just good content is what matters.
Yeah. That's great news for people who don't have a huge following because that was always one of the
Oh, yeah.
biggest excuses that they had is like, well, it's easy for you to say Austin. It's easy for you to say Tony. You've got tens of thousands of, millions of followers and a big show. And guys, if you make the right content, things can go viral. Like you said, like each piece of content has the potential to reach thousands or even millions of people if it's done well.
Yeah, and, you don't even need to go viral, to be honest. I mean, I used to get five-figure consulting gigs and clients on our YouTube channel when I had, like, 400 subscribers,
Right?
and the video would only get, like, 3,000 views, but it was, like, drug rehab SEO, how to get more admits.
Very
And, like,
specific.
that's so niche specific,
Mhm.
right? And so, like, this is a real story. Somebody saw a short video that I did on TikTok about drug rehab SEO, and then I said, "I've got a longer video on my, YouTube channel if it's helpful." He went this was a CEO of a very successful California addiction treatment center. Saw my TikTok video. The message on the was good enough. He went to YouTube, saw my video, watched the entire video, contacted me, and then it turned into a multiple five-figure consulting gig for 3 months. And, I had a little bit of a following on TikTok at the time, but the YouTube channel is what really
Yeah.
sold it. And so, like, that's kind of the path as well that you need to consider on social media for businesses as well, is it's not just that one video seen that one time. They're looking for that path. They're looking for guidance to make sure that you are the expert. And so, like, if you can just take them from a short video to a blog article, or a short video to a
Mhm.
long video, or a short video to an email campaign, like having those multiple touch points is how you're going to actually convert more leads and sales. And you don't need to go viral in order to do it. You just need the right messaging for the right person.
That and I think adding to that is the consistency and just showing up because guys, if you're listening to this, you're a consumer in some regard. You're searching things, you're buying things, you're judging things. When you go search for somebody, let's say looking for an executive coach, you go search. names pop up. You're probably going to be curious about most of them because you never heard of them. You're going to click on them, look at their website. Does it look good? Does it look professional? You're going to click on their social media. You're going to see if they're active. Have they made a post in the last 2 months or a year? Did they create a podcast, but it's only got 6 episodes and it stopped in 2022, right? And so if you're thinking about this the right way, it's like you're building an active living organism of marketing reach. That way, when
Mhm.
people are out there doing things, they're seeing things, and you don't want them to show up on your page and you haven't posted in months because they're going to be like, oh, maybe they're out of business. 'Cause our minds gravitate to the worst possible outcome. Like maybe they're in
Yeah.
jail. Maybe they quit doing this, or maybe they're a fraud. But if they keep you seeing your content constantly, they're gonna be like, okay, this person's very active. They're passionate about what they do. They keep showing up and they notice these things, and that's what converts, man.
I 100% agree. You know, when I started my agency, that I was just resonating so much with what you said. I That was the whole thesis for my marketing agency being active on social media and using that to actually generate leads. Because it's like this is a poor analogy, but it's like hiring the fat personal trainer.
Yeah,
Are you gonna hire an overweight personal trainer who doesn't take care of their own body, or are you gonna hire the personal trainer that you aspire to be like?
yeah,
Are you gonna hire the marketing agency that doesn't practice what they preach? They have no social media presence themselves, or are you gonna, sign up with the agency that the reason you're on the call in the first place is because they saw your content? You are showing up on every platform, putting in the work. That person, that you're gonna hire the aspirational person.
for sure. Yeah. One of the things people talk about is being inspirational, but aspirational is actually more powerful in the marketing space. And the distinction between the two, if you're confusing what aspirational versus inspirational is, like you're inspired and you go, okay, I feel cool about that. Aspirational is I want to be like that. I want to
Yes.
be like that person, or I want that some kind of characteristic or trait of that person. So if you create things that are more aspirational versus inspirational quotes and things that you're not really living up to that standard, people are looking at, well, you guys are posting these motivational memes and you don't live up to them. The rest of us are kind of scratching our heads going, why are you posting that? Like, why don't you just do that?
100%. That's how I've done everything in business and online. I practice what I preach.
That's
I'm
it.
not gonna resonate with everybody. Sometimes I'm brash, sometimes I'm bold, blunt, but, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm doing it.
So shifting on the final segment here, I want to hear the future topics. And so I know that you're kind of a visionary in that space.
Sure.
You've seen the trends from day one. You kind of got a gut feel of what things are going and where. What does the future of AI look like?
Yeah, great question. I see 2 paths. One, uh AI has largely been on computers and a software play,
Okay.
uh, up to this point. I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see that come more into the physical world, more robots, more AI in our cars.
Mm,
I just bought a humanoid robot. We had one last year as well. I actually own 5 robots from China. They're crazy. But these are going to, we have driverless cars now, Waymos, and there's a bunch of these, and there's the delivery robots in different cities around. We are going to enter in this AI robot
okay.
world very, very, very soon over the next couple of years. We're going to see humanoid robots walking down the street. We're going to have them as assistants in our home, helping out with everything. And so I think in if you can get into the hardware and robotics space with
Mm,
I think that is a massive opportunity. Now, the other thing that I see is kind of the death or massive cliff drop off of software as we know it. Not in completely net zero,
mm,
but as AI agents are adopted more and more, I think rather than um, having 5, 10 different software that we individually log into on our laptops or our phones, we're going to have a single point of contact with an AI agent. So, I can log into just Claude app or just the Perplexity app, or if you're doing anything with Hermes or OpenClaw, you can just open WhatsApp or Telegram
Mhm.
and you chat with it, and it plugs in and connects with every other software tool and does the execution for you. And
Mm.
so I think SaaS as we know it is going to consolidate into APIs and MCPs that plug into just your AI agent. And I think the API MCP route is and market is going to explode, unlike anything that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I can give you a funny story on that because yesterday was Father's Day and we were at the in-laws house and my brother-in-law was helping my wife's parents program the TV with all the apps, all the streaming platforms.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he sat there and he went one by one, I think 7 apps, having to do the login from the phone and then take a
Yep.
picture of the QR and verify. It was a pain in the ass just watching that whole
Mhm.
process, and you could tell that he was frustrated
Yep.
doing it because it was just so tedious, and all these logins were all different, and nothing was
Mhm.
consistent across the platforms, and, yeah, you just mentioned a big problem, like, with all the phone apps and all the television apps and the computer
Yep.
apps, just
Yep.
getting away from logins and having it go straight to work would be amazing.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, I think that's a major pain point that everybody struggles with. What was my login? How do I
oh my
use
god.
this new software? Every time you sign up for a new software, there's a new UI you've got to figure out. You
Yeah.
sign up because you want the outcome and the output that software describes and has marketed it, but you can't even use the dang thing because it's too confusing to learn how to get started in the first place. That's why churn happens.
Yeah.
And, if I just have one AI agent that I'm comfortable with, it's like my employee, and I can just say, "Hey, Claude, sign into Syllabi and schedule a month of videos for me." I don't need to learn how to use Syllabi. Claude just does it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we're already seeing the things that the consumer-based products, like you said, like the robots. I mean, even the Meta glasses, I enjoy those, playing with
Yeah.
those, and we're
Yep.
starting to see it AI on a local level of just within the products, and that yeah, I agree, that's gonna be the next thing. It's gonna be everything, really.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
well, I enjoyed this conversation, my friend.
Me too. Thank you for
Okay.
having me on. It was a blast.
Any final words or tips you wanna share or advice with the entrepreneurs listening to this episode?
I just hope this was helpful, y'all. I'm very approachable. If anyone wants to reach out to me, my personal website's austinarmstrong.ai. I am very active on every social media platform. If you look me up, Austin Armstrong, I am the nerdy with glasses and tattoos,
And
Austin
the fancy
Armstrong,
pats, the fancy pants.
and the fancy pants, Austin Armstrong. I am not the Florida Gators defensive line coach, Austin Armstrong, nor am I the 6 foot tall, curly haired relationship influencer in Los Angeles,
Oh,
Austin Armstrong.
alright.
I'm that business nerd that'll help you make money.
Alright. That's a funny portfolio to compare yourself with, those 2, like, okay, good stuff. Guys, if you got something from this episode, and I know you did, share these episodes because it's how we get this word out of this show, and it's how it's grown to top 1% globally ranked show because people like you share this episode when they have friends and colleagues and business partners that need to hear this kind of stuff. And that's why I keep producing these shows to help you guys get where you want to be. So thank you for hanging out with us, Austin. And it's been an awesome episode. And I can't wait to hang out with you at the next events.
Appreciate you, brother.